Right, so Prof Sam Ramaila from the Faculty of the Education at the University of Johannesburg joins us to unpack further. Prof Sam, good afternoon, and thank you for your time with us here on the SABC at this hour.
Good afternoon, Lizel, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Prof, let's get your reaction to the Matric results that had been announced by the Basic Education Minister. What are your thoughts as we speak?
Lisa, let me take this opportunity, to extend my congratulations to the class of, 2023. This is the class that have actually achieved against all odds. I will recall that this is the cohort that navigated COVID-19 pandemic in the earlier years. And, they faced the reality of trimmed curriculum. And as you know, trimmed curriculum might actually lead to a situation where foundational knowledge gaps are actually created, which may have an adverse impact on grade transition. So I'm particularly, pleased with the results. And I think looking back, we always have to keep in mind that the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in particular was noticeable in 2020 and 2021. So this is the cohort that has actually done remarkably well under the circumstances.
Prof, thank you for those sentiments, because as we hone in and start to analyze the data and unpack a little bit further, I also want to shine a spotlight on the performance of the Department of Basic Education across the provinces. We're also seeing the Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, the Western Cape, despite the challenges that had been incurred, rising to the occasion. What are you observing there?
Absolutely. There is a remarkable miracle that is actually showcased by Free State Province in particular. And I mean, I think they've actually been able to maintain the top spot over the last 2 to 3 years. And this is actually a reflection of sustained, commitment to some of the targeted, educational interventions that they are actually, implementing within the province itself. And as far as Free State Province in particular is concerned, it is a known fact that part of their strategy has been, particular emphasis on the strengthening of early childhood education and sustained implementation. Sustained, implementation of targeted interventions. And this is actually bearing fruits for the province of, Free State in particular. And I think it is actually pleasing to see, KZN coming on board as well in terms of posting, satisfactory performance as well. And as far as the, Western Cape is concerned, it's a known fact that the Western Cape has consistently produced top learners in mathematics.
Prof, because then I also want to reverse it and look at the underperforming provinces, because you did speak about contending with a lot of challenges. And, some of the issues that come to mind include resources. You've got your nutrition and feeding schemes that also play a role. There's, the language barriers as well. Talk to some of those challenges that may have contributed to the more underperforming provinces, perhaps also not limited to resources alone.
Yes, resources are actually playing an extremely important role, because it's actually very difficult to, deliver good quality education without, the provision of, essential resources. If you look at the teaching of physical sciences in particular, it's almost, difficult for learners to grasp some of these fundamental and abstract concepts without available, resources like laboratories, for instance. And it is actually very important to strengthen some of these interventions, and targeted support for both learners and teachers in particular will actually go a long way in terms of, boosting the overall performance of the learners in the NSC, exams in particular.
No, absolutely, Prof, because then I wanted to perhaps hone in and look at education and how it serves as a microcosm for the macrocosm of our society, of our nation, and what is being reflected on that front. I'm asking this because I want to then speak to the shift in South Africa's educational landscape, given the results for 2023.
Yes, this is actually a very important question, Lisa, because at the moment we are actually facing the era of the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah.
And as the Department of Education is facing the key imperative, to actually produce learners who can actually take advantage of, the existing opportunities that are associated with the advent, of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, Lisa, if you look at the performance of both physical science and mathematics in particular, there's been an, improvement. And I think mathematics in particular rose from 55% to 63.5%. But mathematics as a subject, as compared to the performance of learners in other subjects, is still low. And then once again, if you look at, the number of, the percentage of learners who are actually achieving bachelor passes, I think it's at the currently sitting at 40.9%, and which is actually still inadequate if we are to realize meaningful human capital development, as a country. So a lot still needs to be done to ensure that, we produce mathematically and scientifically literate learners who can actually, take advantage of the, opportunities that are associated with the fourth industrial revolution, and in particular, digital transformation.
And also make us more globally competitive as a nation. And Prof, as we look forward to 2024, we also saw that the data reflected from the class of 23 showed that there were record bachelor passes and passes with distinction. And so, given this influx of learners that are obviously, many of which want to expand and continue learning, have to enter high institutions of learning, tertiary education, what are university state of readiness at this point? How do you think they also going to have to cope?
Absolutely, because if you look at the increased pass rate for the current 2023, it is actually posing a serious challenge to universities to ensure that these learners are actually absorbed, because they've actually passed the NSE exams. But then on the other hand, we have to be in a position to leverage strategic pathways, because always have to be mindful of diversity in terms of learner academic talent, because we can't actually channel all these learners into academic programs, because some of them may not be academically gifted or academically inclined to academic programs. So leveraging, diversity as far as strategic pathways are concerned, I think is actually going to be vital going forward.
Prof, let's see the conversation there. Thank you for your time with us on the SABC. Professor Sam Ramaila is from the Faculty of Education at the University of Johannesburg, unpacking the 2023 Matric results. Again, thank you to him for joining us at this hour.